To our world lead, Israel says today it struck one of the Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps' main headquarters, plus several other military buildings in the capital city of Tehran. Now, those strikes came after President Donald Trump said renewed talks with the U.S. and Iran started after he threatened to bomb Iran's energy infrastructure if it did not open the Strait of Hormuz.
We were planning tomorrow on shooting down some of their power plants, and we're going to hold that up. Hopefully we won't have to do it, and hopefully we can make a deal that's good for all of us.
But Iran's foreign ministry today said there was, quote, no dialogue between Tehran and Washington. That is according to state-affiliated media. Let's discuss now with Michael Oren, former Israeli ambassador to the U.S. Mr. Ambassador, really appreciate your time. I'm hoping to kind of pull on your diplomatic, political historian long career here and have you cut through kind of the seemingly divergent statements between the two sides and try and explain what's actually going on behind the scenes here.
Well, it's good to be with you, Phil. Thanks for having me on. Listen, one side's going to say there's no talks. The other side is going to say there's no negotiations, but that doesn't mean they're not contacts. And the thin line between, negotiations and contacts, obviously there's communications going on here. And what's not clear is with whom on the Iranian side. If the Speaker of the House is saying that he is not the POC, the point of contact here, then who is? Is it members of the IRGC, the Iranian Revolutionary Guards, or other people in the military, or even a cleric? Nobody knows, but apparently they have some type of authority, some type of what you would call plenipotentiary power to represent the Iranian government. And then it comes down to the issues, and the issues are really four from the American side, which is the future of Iran's nuclear program, the future of its ballistic missile capacity, the support of Iran for terrorist organizations, the proxies in the Middle East, and finally the Straits of Hormuz, and whether they'll be reopened. For Israel, there's also a fourth, which is Lebanon, and very heavy fighting going on there tonight. And in Israel, there's a tremendous amount of questions about what exactly is going on between the United States and Tehran and whether Israel's interests will be addressed in those negotiations.
You wrote a piece, and I actually was thinking about this piece this morning when I saw the president's Truth Social post. I think it was about 7:30 in the morning. Hopefully you weren't getting a late start as the day got started. But where you wrote a piece, it was called How This War Ends, or that was the title of it. And you made clear in that piece, and I don't want to paraphrase in a way that doesn't capture it properly, but basically that if the war ended when you wrote this, I believe it was 10 or 11 days ago, that Iran would be able to maintain its sphere of influence in the Middle East. Essentially, Iran would be able to say it had won. That was 10 days ago. Do you feel like that has changed dramatically in the last 10 days to allow for a potential deal that both the U.S. and Israel would be happy with?
Well, I think if the deal ends with Iran retaining its nuclear facilities in any capacity or its ability to make these ballistic missiles, and keep in mind these ballistic missiles take down not a building, they take down an entire neighborhood, as they did just yesterday in one of Israeli towns, or Iran continues to support Hezbollah, Hamas, continues to close the Straits of Hormuz, then Iran will declare victory. We have to see not just how the West or the United States would define victory, but how Iran would defend victory, which is a Middle East definition, which is you win by not losing. If you can come out of the rubble and flash a V sign, then you've won. However, the flip side of that, if Iran gives up on all of those, it gives up its nuclear program, gives up the ballistics, gives up the terrorists, and reopens the Straits of Hormuz, then I think the United States can safely say it won the war. And even by Iranian terms, and the regime will simply not be the same regime anymore because all of those activities are in its DNA. They are a jihadist regime. So I think it will come down to that. I think that the definition of victory remains the same. For the United States, it will be changing for Iran.
What do you believe are the odds that within 5 days a deal like that is reachable?
I think that perhaps, as was the case with the Gaza negotiations, which in the end were successful, and Israel was able to repatriate its hostages from Gaza, that you can make a framework for negotiations. And the framework would say, okay, we're going to address the issue of the nuclear and the ballistic and the terror the way that a framework was made, the 20 points that were negotiated by Mr. Kirshner and Mr. Witkoff last January and February. In Gaza, I think that you can accomplish within 5 days, and you can certainly reopen the Straits of Hormuz.
Yeah, it'll be fascinating to watch. Obviously, a pause in some level, but also strikes continuing on others as well. Former Ambassador Michael Oren, really appreciate your time. Thanks so much.
Thank you very much.
Well, a major question before the U.S. Supreme